spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope. Fill my head with roses. I can't help but dream away, standing on a field with you and flowers everywhere. Maybe there is a star with your name. One thing I know is that there should be. There is no one who has a heart as pure, no, not like yours. Dreaming of you. Dreaming of you. Your smile. What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars.
Hello and welcome back to The Absolute Mom. Today for Vlogmas, we are going to take you along with us as I do homeschool with our 5th grader. So I get a lot of requests about how our homeschool day ends up running or how I divide my time, but today is only focusing on my 5th grader. All right, so it is a Monday morning, and usually the kids will wake up between 7 and 7:30. They like watching a little bit of TV first and then doing breakfast, but we've recently implemented a rule saying no TV until school is complete because I feel like it's just a rabbit hole otherwise. So on Monday, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you should know it's Muffin Monday for breakfast. So
I'm thinking back on all those times when I felt closed off from all that I could become, eager but too scared to climb. Wanted to please my friends, but it felt like the end on myself. I was shut down and all drained out. I was lost, so I had to change. Yeah, I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness they turned on me. But now I am perfectly free to be me.
all right, so breakfast is all cleaned up. The dining room table is all clear. Lexi has put out all of our school books. I still have a few dishes to do from last night. The kids have been wanting to watch our morning vlogs when they come out, and so we've kind of been interrupting our homeschool day to be able to do that. And so we're going to watch the vlog. And then the other thing we're going to be watching is my oldest daughter, Alexis, has her own channel. And so we're going to be watching her latest video also because that just came out a few minutes ago. I will link her channel down below. It is called Always Alexis. And she doesn't post regularly, but she's getting better about posting regularly. It's more my fault than her fault because I'm just so busy trying to edit everything. So make sure to check out her channel and subscribe also. All right, we're going to watch our vlog. I hope you are too. For you guys, her Christmas list for 2020. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be a 5-hour long video. Have our setup all ready for school to be going. The twins are in there watching their stuff. Kenzie decided to join us right over here, so she's just making a rainbow artwork for us. Lexi is up on the computer signing into her BJU Press online account to be able to do her spelling pre-test, and she is currently on week 19. So week 19 out of 32. She only has 13 more weeks left. They do have 32 weeks and it's built to be a 36-week course. So they do have some weeks that are just free weeks, but we just skip those weeks and we keep working forward. I'm trying to motivate her that if she gets spelling done early, that means it's just one less subject to do. And so this week is a pretty simple week. It looks like she has some really simple words for this week, especially compared to the previous week. And so she usually likes doing the pre-test and the final test on the computer. And so I have my computer sitting here because I also log into my account, and that way throughout the day I can insert the grades as we do them. I used to do them just at the end of the week, but I find it's just easier to do them as we go. And then she has her stack of books of stuff. That's every single subject that we do. And then we have my stack of teacher's manuals there. The other part that we have, and I've shown this many of times, is our schedule or our lesson plan. So this is something that I make on my own. BJU Press does give you video lesson guides that tells you exactly what to do on what day, but I like to compress it all into one sheet for all subjects for the whole entire week. And that way we know if all this gets marked off that we're complete for the day. So we're starting with spelling. I always write what list we're on, so list 19, and then it'll say to do the pre-test today and work text page 74. Then we do a work text page every single day for the first 4 days. Midweek is always a practice test, and the final day of the week is a final test. We originally started with all video lessons online with BJU Press, and then we realized that we kind of wanted to do parent-led. And luckily, I had all the teacher's manuals also, and so it hasn't been any inconvenience at all. So she still uses the videos on a couple of things on certain days, but most times it is parent-led. So I'm over here and I'm all ready for her for the spelling. People are always asking what our setup is, especially considering I'm homeschooling like multiple ages at the same time. And there's definitely a split between 5th graders and kindergartners and preschoolers. And so what we end up doing is the kindergartners use the TV for their DVD lessons in there, and they're nice and comfortable. They're not as distracted because it's just all in one room. And then Lexi sits up here at this computer and she sits at the table with me. Every now and then we'll go in there and we'll cuddle and do our reading and such, but it all depends on how active the twins are with their school at that point in time. Kenzie kind of runs back and forth. A lot of times if Lexi doesn't need the computer at the time, I'll put Kenzie on reading eggs or math seeds so that she gets a little bit of learning done. And it's game play, like game learning. And so, see, she loves doing it. And so she doesn't even realize it's part of her school. One thing that we have noticed this year is that their website is a lot more boggled down. So this little spinny thinking hourglass thing, oh, there it finally went. That is becoming pretty normal. They are doing multiple updates to try to help. And I do feel like every time they do an update, it is helpful. We do have really, really great internet where we live, like very fast speed internet. And so we know it's not a problem on our side. Everybody kind of collectively is complaining about this issue happening, but we're just being very patient because we really do like the curriculum. So I feel like it's worth it. This is one of the downfalls of doing anything online full-fledged. With the twins being on DVD, this never ever affects us. And so we're lucky that way. And so we will either just skip this subject and move on to a different subject, or there it is thinking again. So
I thought I would, and then it did it.
So if this continues, we'll just do it parent-led, but she does like doing her, oh, there it goes again. She does like doing her tests on the computer though this way. And so what I do also is I pre-print out all of her lists, like all of the different papers that she needs. So there's 3 papers per week that she ends up needing. There's the pre-test, the practice test, and the final test. And then I put at the top of the page and highlight it what week it is for so that everything's completely organized for 9 weeks at a time. And that way daily, we're not going and scurrying for different paperwork. So, all right, we're probably going to switch over to parent-led at this point because this isn't worth a waste of time when I have all the words that I can do for her. Are you ready, Lex?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. We are in the middle of doing our spelling pre-test, and Kenzie came up to Lexi and she asked her for what? What do you want Sissy to make you?
A dimmy bag.
A sleeping bag. She found some fabric and she wants Lexi to sew her a sleeping bag. So
Emma.
For her baby Emma. So Lexi, what's your goal with school then?
To get done.
To get done fast so that you can?
Make it with her.
Yeah, so that she could sew her a baby sleeping bag. So sometimes little kids help motivate the big kids to get the school done. And so we will see if she gets to sew later on.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. She is, as I'm correcting her pre-test because of the computer not working. Okay, guys, as I'm correcting the pre-test for the computer not working, she is working on the work text page that goes along with the first day of the week. And so we're still getting stuff going. All right, go to your work text. Let's go. The website on BJU Press is very easy to use. So this is what the parent one looks like. Usually, so if I unmark that, usually it's just white like this. And then my daughter marks complete. So mark complete when she is all done. And that way I know to review it. And then after I've reviewed it, I put mark review complete and it turns gray. And that way we know for the next day, we just have to go down. And then this I had left open to show you guys also. So this blue one is what your assignment is. And then if there is a quiz or a test, it will have a link that says go to test center that you could push on and it will take you directly to whatever quiz you need. But then if you have something that needs graded for the day, it will have this little check mark. Sorry, the kids are getting wild on their focus on 5s. So you will have this little check mark and it will tell you grade and record. So this is the personal narrative that we wrote and we already published it. Everything is done. So then up here, it tells me how many points should be available. There is a rubric that you could print off right here that shows exactly how to grade it. And so you just submit your grade and she did awesome on it. So you push submit and it'll put grade saved. Then I mark out of it so that I know I'm complete for that day. And now I just need to go down and find the day that we are currently on. I also want to point out to you guys, if they have done something like, let's say that they did this work text page and you do not want it graded or you skip the lesson, you can either push skip or you just don't put the grade in here. Don't put a 0 because that will affect their final grade. But if you just leave it blank and don't put anything at all, then it just counts as an assignment that's not even graded at all. So I am all caught up. We are on video 80. So today it's a cumulative review, and they normally do their test on a separate day. So as you could tell, here's day 87 assignment. It's a cumulative review and it is graded. And then their test is the next day, and then they get a day free basically after the test. What we do to kind of save some days is we do the cumulative review and the test on the same exact day. And she really enjoys it. She doesn't feel like it's too much work. So we're going to get going on English next. All right, you're all done for spelling? All right, so for AR, what did you get?
Walrus, polar, collar, lunar, cedar, grammar, schooler.
Scholar. Okay, ER, what did you get?
Manor, carpenter, minister,
Surrender.
center, remembered, consider.
All right, and for OR, what did you get?
Favor, mayor, monitor, splendor, tutor.
All right, perfect. Let's get on to English.
Second one. My neighbor has a garden which goes to make the second one. Last week the workman. Second. This house is painted in blues and second grade.
Perfect, good job. All right, so section B, underline the simple subject once and the simple predicate twice. Write S if the sentence is a simple sentence, and write C if the sentence is a compound sentence. So number 1, trains are still used, but they have changed.
Trains.
Okay, so underline the simple subject once and the simple predicate twice.
Trains is a simple.
Okay, and is this a simple sentence or a compound sentence?
Compound.
And how do you know that? It's because comma, but. So they're putting two of them together. All right, number 12, the wheels and gears turn silently. So underline the simple subject once.
Wheels and gears. Wheels, gears.
Good job. Yes, there was 2 of them.
And then
You caught them.
silent T.
All right, so C, diagram the simple subjects, simple predicates, and coordinating conjunctions from sentence 10 and 11. So sentence 10 was trains are still used, but they have changed. So what's a simple subject?
Trains
Okay, and what's a simple predicates?
are used,
Good job. And what is the coordinating conjunction?
but
Good job. And then you
But.
remember there was 2 parts on this sentence because it was a compound sentence. So what is the next simple subject? What is
they
Okay, yep, they. And they have or they are what?
have changed.
Okay, very good job. All right, so all the houses' architecture is colonial style.
First one.
Okay, we just got done completing the cumulative review and we corrected it. So I have shown you guys before, I highlight the bottom of the pages that are being corrected and that are being graded. So that way both of us know that we need to address this. It's easier than constantly looking at the computer to see which ones I need to get a grade in. So the computer does let me know there are 47 points available. I had already written it up here in red. So I had already gone through and wrote how many points were available. Like I said, I highlight down here so that we know that these are both graded assignments. And so now I will put, she got 47 out of 47, 100%. And then down here, I initial it so that I know that this is complete and I don't need to look at it again. So then we will come over to the computer. I will mark it complete for her because she wasn't on the computer and I am. We can get it done. And then she wants to type in 47 out of 47 and submit. So that grade is now saved. I will mark that it is complete. Said I double up cumulative review days and test days. So now she needs to go over onto the computer and she needs to do the Chapter 8 final test. So that is the next step. As you can see, this table has rapidly become a mess. We have absolutely no room to do anything on it at all, but it's perfectly fine because at the end of the school day, we also know that these things are going to get put away back in our homeschool cubby. So she is on the computer doing her test. I'm going to try to get closer, but it gets pretty darn dark on the camera. Some of it is drop down selections and other is typing in, and then certain ones have essays also, and so that's something, it doesn't grade the essay parts. I have to go in there and do that. If spelling is incorrect at all, it will count it completely wrong. So every now and then, if I know exactly that she meant the correct thing, I will give her credit back for that. So these tests, it's a new thing for her to do the test online instead on paper. So there has been a little bit of a learning curve with it, but I think that she has gotten the hang of it and it's going very well. And Kenzie's hanging out with her, helping her with her schoolwork. She is just waiting for Sissy to be able to sew her that little sleeping bag for her baby. Sorry about any of the shadows or bad lighting. It's kind of a gloomy day here in the Midwest. And so we're just having some weird lighting going on. So we just got done with English here. We are going to mark off that we are complete for that day. And then the next thing we are going to focus on is math here. So for math, we are doing a work text page, and usually it's always front and back for work text pages. She has fact review 65 to do. She has a daily review to do, and this is usually just a small, like a third of a page worth of problems. And she also has Chapter 8 Quiz 1 to do. And so we just go straight down it, and when it's all done, we highlight and we move on to the next one.
It has to be all the way at the bottom.
So there's a little distraction happening while I'm helping the K5ers. And so now she's helping with the little 4-year-old and getting my math textbook ready for us.
And there is 36 inches in.
Okay, so if there's 36 inches in a yard and we have 4 yards.
36 times 4.
Okay, good job.
144 inches.
Good job. This is the time of day that kind of starts getting crazy. The little kids are starting to complete all their schoolwork, so they're a little bit more rambunctious and running in and out of where me and the 5th grader is trying to work. And then just some of these subjects just take longer than the ones we do in the first part. I prefer to do the longer subjects first. She prefers to do the faster subjects first. So we kind of just compromise and we switch it back and forth from day to day. So today's math lesson is on converting different measurements, which for some reason she has a hard time with. Let me flip you around here. So for some reason she has a hard time with. If she knows the measurements, she does really great. But knowing how many feet are in a mile, she usually knows how many inches are in a yard, but there's just some of the other ones she's having a hard time with. So what I am going to do for her is I am going to find a good printout online, and I'm going to print out a graph that she can study. This isn't for her to use to do her homework. It's for her to study, to try to figure out and memorize these things. So she was doing her fact reviews, and she was having a harder time with the upper 11s and 12s, like these ones just here at the bottom. And so I found these 2 resources and printed them off, and she's very much so a visual learner. So she'll just look at these, and sooner or later she'll remember that it goes 110, 121, 132. It'll become just second nature to her. Usually before lunch, we like to have basically English, spelling, math, and reading done. And that way we only have science and history for after lunch. Today with filming, it's just going a little bit slower. And also we just kind of got a later start this morning again. I feel like lately our schedule's been a little bit off. Luckily tonight we don't have dance, so we do have time to be able to get all 6 of her subjects done. But I really enjoy getting done early in the day so that we can have like either craft time or game time or something in the afternoon. So while she is working on her math work text page, I've already sat down, I've done all the teaching portion of it. I'm going to go switch laundry and I am going to start lunch. This week is a little bit off as far as lunch goes. Usually we always have leftovers that we can utilize for lunch, but we've been making like perfect portions, it seems like, for the last 5 days. So there's been absolutely no leftovers. And then usually I always have a menu also saying what we're having for breakfast, lunch, and supper, because I just get decision fatigue, basically making all decisions and having like all 4 kids come at me the whole entire day about school. I kind of just enjoy when there's a menu and I don't have to think about any of it. It's just autopilot. Part of our 5th grader, Lexi's day, is she enjoys cooking with us. She enjoys being in the kitchen. So on Muffin Monday, a lot of times she's the one actually making the muffins, whether it's a prepackaged or whether it's homemade banana muffins or anything like that. So for lunch, what we ended up finding, our school district has way too much food. They're currently not doing in person because of COVID. They have way too much food, so they are giving out free food once per week, like 5 days worth of food once per week for breakfast and lunches. So you just go and you pick it up once on Tuesday. We didn't participate in this last year because we're obviously homeschoolers and I felt like somebody else needed it more, but we have recently talked to people within the school district that actually say their funding gets cut drastically if this food isn't being given out and utilized. So by us actually going and taking this food, it is helping our local school district. And they also made the point that we pay taxes and we pay a high amount of taxes actually for our area. And so they say we deserve it just as much as somebody else. So what we're doing is there's these personal pizzas. And so each kid can have one of those. I have this big can of fruit cocktail that I opened up. We have some dry roasted peanuts. My kids are obsessed with peanuts. And then we have some tomatoes and carrots that we can snack on. I'm going to go ahead and make a thing of juice up. One way that I try to cut down on a lot of our dishes during the day is all the kids' cups are supposed to come back up here on the counter so that they can reutilize it, like refill their water and such. This one is mine. I'm not huge on energy drinks. This has the equivalent caffeine to a cup of coffee, and it actually tastes really good. And so I've just recently started this. I don't drink coffee at all, and so this is the only caffeine I get, and I don't drink soda either. She is getting all the pizzas ready for all the kids.
I'm so glad you feel it too. Nothing to hide but falling in love. To me it's perfectly clear we're falling in love. It's true, this part of the year has some.
She is at the end of page 184. She has 2 problems left. So she knows next she needs to either do her daily review D on page 192 or she needs to do her fact review number 65. Now she doesn't have to come look at this to know what review to do because it is right here at the bottom of her page. It lets her know fact review D on page 192. So D, as you can see, there's just 8 problems. It's just up there in the top block. They're pretty simple, easy things for her to do. So she is doing her daily review. This I treat the same way. Some of these are graded and some of them are not graded. So if they are to be graded, I highlight a box around the whole entire thing so that she knows that that is a graded one. And I also know when I look at it to insert a grade into the grade book. So her daily review today only took her like 30 to 45 seconds. It was super quick. So she is already on to the fact review. So she's going to do the fact review, but she also has a quiz today in math. So she'll get both of those done on the computer, and then math will be completely done for the day and perfect timing to eat lunch. Are you hungry?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's not cooking instructions that came with these school pizzas, but they don't look too bad. So I'm going to let them cool for a few minutes, and then I'm going to put them over here to get them cut. This little one heard the timer go off in the oven, and she is so ready to eat. She ran straight in here. Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Yes. So lunch is all ready. The twins are just finishing up their little section. Lexi got all done with her fact review and her quiz, so she's ready to eat. They just have part of those little pizzas, some nut. Everybody has their vitamin in there, and then some wanted fruit, some didn't. There was carrots. The tomatoes just didn't look good. They were a little bit smushy, so I ended up throwing them away. And then everybody has juice, and the one child needs some medicine in her drink, and so I just leave the spoon in there so that we're sure that she gets that drink. So it is lunchtime. Usually I will read aloud at this point in time, but I already did for breakfast. And so every now and then, with the computer being right there, we will put on Liberty Kids for them to watch. They really enjoy that. But I just recently learned, Kenzie, you got cheese down your chin. No, I just recently learned that how the states got their names is going to be on YouTube only until the end of this year. And so we are going to check out some of that because so many homeschoolers really love it. As the little ones are finishing up their lunch, Lexi and I are going to go ahead and get started in reading because today we are on lesson 55. I need to read aloud student text 179 through 183. We have a work text that goes with it, and then she has this code book unit 3 handout, and she really loves this. It's basically unscramble the letter type code, and she gets to be the detective to figure out what the secret message is. And so I figured as long as the kids are sitting down and still eating, and Lexi's all done eating, we can still make progress in her 5th grade day. And the kids, the little kids, enjoy listening to the stories. And so it looks like today's story, we're starting a new unit. So we're on unit 3. And today's story is Ma and Muffin. So the littles will definitely enjoy this. Raise your hand if you think Ma is going to let Muffin stay.
Can I have one of those pieces?
One.
We'll put it down.
All right, so Beckett and Lexi thinks that Muffin is going to be allowed to stay. Kenzie, Brooklyn, do you guys think Ma is going to let Muffin stay?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody votes yes? All right, so little golden fireball. The 3 little children circled their grandfather's big armchair in front of the fireplace and tugged at his sleeve. Oh, Grandpa, begged Meg, the oldest, please tell us a story. A story? Said Grandpa. And what makes you youngins think I have another story to tell? All right, Lex, keep going.
Pa's death. Mr. Ditl had let Micah and his mom keep living in their little 2-room house to pay their rent. One day, Micah was walking home after school, and he had stopped to examine a dead blackbird whose legs stuck straight up in the air. Then he caught sight of an old ripped cardboard box over in some tall grass and saw it wiggle just a little.
Who wants to hear Grandpa tell a story?
Meg, Nora, and Mark.
Okay, and how do you think that Grandpa comes up with these stories?
He comes up with them because I think that's from his childhood.
So you think that this puppy story happened to him as a kid? Do you know anyone who likes to tell stories?
Grandma, she likes to tell us bedtime stories.
Yeah. Do you think she makes up the stories? Or do you think it's something she's watched or seen or experienced?
Yeah. From the book.
Oh, so she reads you bedtime stories from the book. All right, why does Micah stop to examine the dead bird?
Because it looks satisfying to me.
Yeah, how often do you think that people see a bird with its legs up in the air?
That happened at the softball game.
Yeah. Why is Micah so happy about finding a pup?
Because he doesn't have any pets.
And then why does Micah call the pup Muffin?
Because it's sweet like its mom, like his mom's muffin. She only makes them at Christmas because it takes a whole cup of sugar.
Okay. What made him think of the muffins, though?
Because she was the same color as him.
Yeah. So in your mind, you can easily envision exactly what this dog would look like, right? Because you kind of know what color muffins would be. Yeah. And do you think that dogs are expensive? Yeah, it seems like they have a hard time even paying their rent. So then if you add an animal that you don't have to, all of a sudden they have more bills and another mouth to feed, right? So this is a day in the life of a 5th grader, but this 5th grader has little siblings. So part of her school day, because this happens all the time, doesn't it, Lexi? This is a very normal school day for us, is that we are trying to do some work and the littles want to be included in it. And reading is a very good one, and especially today's story, considering it's about a puppy, is a very good one for them to sit in too. So they are done eating and we decided we will keep their hands a little bit busy. So the twins here are using daubers, like bingo daubers basically, to make different pictures.
Rainbow.
And so they're both making rainbows. So that keeps them nice and busy and keeps them quiet while Lexi and I are reading the story. And then Kenzie over here is working on a lot of her different skills too. She basically had a big thing of rubber bands and she's just working on putting those around different cans. They are more than welcome, as I am asking a lot of these follow-up discussion questions. The littles are more than welcome to answer because it makes them think a little bit more in depth about what we are reading. But the one I do expect the answer from is Lexi because this is actually her curriculum. So we're going to keep rolling. We're all done with reading the few pages we needed to, and we just have a little bit more follow-up discussions for her. So why do you think Ma is so different from the other women Micah knows? Why does Ma quote scripture to Micah?
So that he'll understand.
So she's trying to teach him right from wrong. What are some other ways we should use scripture?
We should use scripture in everyday life.
In everyday life. So not only to scold or to punish people, but for good things too, right? So to encourage other people, maybe to give them comfort in a time of need, and to just raise them up and be positive, right? Why does Micah decide to go ahead and ask Ma about the puppy, even though she is scrubbing the floor?
Because she's busy.
Yeah,
that's the best time to ask when you're busy.
Oh, is that what you do to me? So you think if I'm busy, I'll just give in?
No, but I still do it. I do it to Dad and halfway looks on Dad.
I think you guys are really good about just asking time after time, thinking that we'll just give in then.
This is backward.
When you say please, 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 and you just keep on asking, is basically a piece of wood, a flat piece of wood that they would whip them with. And so he's basically saying, I'm going to ask her while she's on her hands and knees on a wet floor because she can't get up really fast and come and whip me with this.
There would be so many splinters.
So many splinters. Lexi, right now we need to go to work text page 67 and 68. So the littles are still playing nicely, so they can just stay there. Lexi has her work text open, but that work text is not in my teacher's manual. So then I have to go onto the computer, and it has a little link here that has the answer key for that work text. So if I push it, it will bring it up for me. This is probably about my only complaint about this is I kind of wish that it had a little picture of it in my teacher's manual so that I didn't have to either look over her shoulder or bring it up on my computer. Here it is up on the computer. And so Lexi and I are going to read through these 2 pages and get them done together. So these are our completed piles. This is the teacher's one and that's hers. Next up on top was science. So she is getting that set up for us. As you can see, the littles are done playing at the table. They have left a hot mess for us, but we are just going to stay focused and finish our school day out. She did just stop and she helped me put some chili in the Instapot for supper tonight. So make sure that video will be coming up as one of these Vlogmas days. So make sure to look at that recipe. And we are almost done with school. We have science and we have heritage studies, and that's all. She is crossing out what we have already completed on our list so that she knows how much more we have left to do.
When conditions are right for a type of severe weather that is not currently happening in the national.
Her activity manual today is a looking ahead. So it's stuff that she hasn't read about or learned about. It's just kind of to open up her mind and get her thinking about things. We did end up doing 2 full lessons in science today because it just seemed very doable and we were still done in 10-15 minutes tops. It was a very fast science day. We're starting a new unit that is all about weather. So it's a little bit interesting. She thinks it's fun. So I'm sure we'll have a few fun, like different experiments to do during this one. While she is finishing that, I am looking ahead to see what is going on with history. And history is one also that we're kind of a little bit behind on more because we're doing some unit studies. And so this one I might try to push through and do a couple lessons on also. We just got done reading all of her history and going through some discussion questions. We ended up doing 3 lessons in the end just because they were small ones and they seem to coincide very well together. And so for her, she's technically done with 3 days worth of heritage studies on her sheet. But part of the goal also is we're just kind of behind on heritage studies. So I'm trying to catch her up a little bit also. And we're learning about the Indians and how we're stealing land from them. And it's just kind of interesting. So we just kept on reading. Science, we had doubled up. And so she's a day ahead of that. Whoops. And then everything else we just did 1 lesson on. So at this point in time, she has a couple of work text pages to do for history, and she has 1 quiz to do for it. And then we will be done with the school day. And so when I calculate out, I think it's been of actual work time about 4.5 hours. As you could tell, she's tired. She's kind of done for the day. But she needs to just push through, be strong, because she has maybe about 20 minutes left of work. So about 4.5 hours for the 5th grade, all parent led. It did slow us down this morning when spelling didn't want to load up on their website. She stopped to make breakfast. She stopped to help me with lunch. And she also stopped to help me put supper into the crock pot. And so she's had a few breaks in between this. Some days she gets actual play breaks in between, but today we just kind of push through. Like I said earlier, it's a gray, gloomy day outside. And so there was just no reason really. We didn't go on a normal walk that we like to do. We didn't play outside today or anything. So this way too, us getting a couple of subjects out of the way for tomorrow. If we don't have enough time, then it's not as much pressure on us to keep on going. She has dance tomorrow, and we have a couple of errands that we need to run for tomorrow also. So tomorrow is just kind of going to be a busy day, and maybe we will take you along and show you how we get that done when we're in the van so much. So here's the end of our day. She is finishing up. Lexi, let us know, what was your favorite subject today? Math was her favorite subject. What was your least favorite? I'm glad this isn't a fast answer because that means that she didn't really mind any of them. So what was your least favorite?
Quizzes.
Quizzes. She did have a lot of quizzes or tests today. I do feel like that ends up happening where they kind of all sync up together. But at the same time too, she's doing great with them. She's really learned how to quiz and test very well, and she's doing really well on them. And so, all right, she did it all. She's completed every single subject. She even doubled or tripled up a couple of those subjects. So I'm super proud of her for working hard. Some of these days, it just feels so productive, like everything just falls in place. And other days, it's super hard just to get 2 subjects done. So I'm very proud of her and her positive attitude today. And she did great on all the quizzes and tests. All right, tell them, like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.
Bye.